You know, when we ask you to text us during the show with questions or comments that we hope to share at the end of the show, well, sometimes we get a few we like to just kind of hold on to until we can actually do something with them. For the last several months, we've had a few of you ask about a former candidate for Idaho governor. Asking these questions, like from JB Squared, how about an update on the Ammon Bundy story? Or Russell from Star, who wanted to know, how is Ammon Bundy doing with his legal issues? Short answer, not so good. A federal bankruptcy judge in Utah ruled this week Bundy still owes all the money he was ordered to pay St. Luke's hospital system 2 years ago, which was more than $52 million. Bundy tried to get out from under that debt by claiming Chapter 7 bankruptcy, but the judge, well, he wasn't having it for a couple of reasons. One, he said an Idaho court and jury already found Ammon Bundy acted in a willful and malicious manner, so this case cannot be relitigated. And second, in setting up bankruptcy laws, Congress made it so any debt that arises out of willful and malicious conduct, well, that can't be discharged by declaring bankruptcy, which means you can't go around doing malicious things and expect to not be held civilly accountable. And Ammon Bundy was found to be liable for organizing protests outside St. Luke's Hospital back in the spring of 2022. Remember baby Cyrus? Well, that was the grandson of Bundy's friend and compatriot Diego Rodriguez. And when the child was hospitalized by St. Luke's staff for health reasons, Rodriguez and Bundy and his People's Rights Network showed up en masse outside the downtown hospital, claiming the baby was, quote, medically kidnapped. Well, the protests disrupted operations at the hospital. They even went into lockdown for about an hour, and emergency services had to be rerouted during that time. A couple months later, St. Luke's filed a lawsuit for defamation and harassment against Bundy, Rodriguez, and their organizations. That would be the People's Rights Network and the Freedom Man PAC. A year later, an Ada County judge issued a default judgment in favor of St. Luke's because, well, Bundy and Rodriguez refused to participate in those proceedings. In July of 2023, Bundy was ordered to pay $52.5 million with interest. That year, he sold his Emmett home and moved to southern Utah, where he's been since. July of 2024, Bundy filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in that state, the Beehive State, to clear the judgment from his record. Well, back in May, St. Luke's filed a motion to stop that from happening based on the judgment in Idaho and the fact Bundy refused to participate in any way. His case went before a federal bankruptcy judge, and on Tuesday of this week, that judge ruled Bundy could not discharge the $52.5 million he owes St. Luke's. So you may be wondering, what now? Well, that $52 million was lowered by about $2 million shortly after the original judgment, after it was discovered that was just kind of too much to award in a case like this. And since then, St. Luke's has been successful in seizing several assets totaling about $2 million. So the total Ammon Bundy and Diego Rodriguez still owe St. Luke's hospital system is a bit more than $47 million, which will also accrue at 10.25% interest every single year, which, based on the total now, is close to $5 million more every year. When I asked St. Luke's attorney Eric Stidham how they plan to collect the rest of that money, he did say they are still waiting on another adversary proceeding that could prove Bundy has assets he has yet to reveal, something hidden that could be of some value. But the short answer, Eric said, was, who knows? Mr. Bundy's answer to how he feels about this ruling, he, quote, said to me in a text, I don't believe in slavery.